Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Fierce fighting continues in Ukraine, where Russian forces still retain control of only one major city, despite their supposed superior military firepower. The war clearly is not going as Vladimir Putin presumed it would, and he has not been seen since the photo over the weekend. But President Zelensky is boldly letting Russians and the rest of the world know where he is, taunting Putin and vowing to remain in Ukraine however long it takes to win.
A defiant President Zelensky taunts the Russians in their new video, even revealing his exact location. He points the camera out the window to prove he's still in the presidential palace in Kyiv. He even cracks a joke as he strolls the corridors. It's kind of defiant, almost taunting the Russians. How does he stay safe now?
Right. Well, you'll notice that everything he does is not live. It's taped. So it's happened a few minutes beforehand. He's in a different location. He's got a tough job. He's got to motivate his people to maintain their strength on the street. And at the same, he's got to keep visible. There's no way around it. So this is a very difficult job for his security detail.
Zelensky's raw courage is winning admiration around the globe. He was given a standing ovation by a packed British Parliament today after addressing lawmakers by video hookup. Zelensky, who rose to fame as a comedian, is now being compared to a great wartime leader from another era, Winston Churchill. Time magazine says it's as if Charlie Chaplin morphed into Churchill.
What I think he's doing is a brilliant move in terms of owning the narrative, communicating not only to Ukrainian people who have done a remarkable job so far in this 13-day invasion, but also to Putin, that he will not run and hide. He's not running scared.
In Ukraine, the suffering is intensifying. This is the scene in the city of Sumy, 200 miles from Kyiv. 21 people are reported killed. The sound of gun battles can be heard in the city's empty streets. Food is becoming scarce, but the punishment for looting is harsh. This man has been stripped and taped to a utility pole. And these women in combat gear and toting assault rifles are vowing to fight to the bitter end.
The first refugees being evacuated from northeastern Ukraine began coming through those humanitarian corridors that have been set up under the auspices of the International Red Cross. They will add to the 2 million Ukrainians the UN says have fled, more than half of whom are children. And as if the trauma of all this shelling isn't enough, the exodus is made more difficult thanks to bitter cold and snow.
It's a pitiful sight. Elderly refugees making their way across a bombed-out bridge, evacuating their besieged Ukrainian town. This woman can barely walk. Another lady is carried on a stretcher, and yet another in a shopping cart. With snow falling around them and the temperature below freezing, the plight of the refugees is utter misery. And this heart-wrenching scene, a father torn from his wife and baby.
What you are seeing behind me are fresh waves of refugees.
We spoke to CBS Morning's co-anchor Tony Jacopo, who is on the Polish border where refugees are pouring in.
We have an extraordinary situation here on the Poland-Ukraine border. Women and children streaming over by the thousands.
For Jacopo, a father of 4, the plight of the children is heartbreaking.
It is a very, very difficult situation to witness, and even worse, magnitudes worse, if you can imagine it, for the people experiencing it firsthand.
Here in the States, Dancing with the Stars' Maxim Shmerkovsky is wondering if he made a mistake leaving Ukraine instead of staying to fight the Russians. Max has been honest about the shame he says he felt when he realized he was the only man on the train out of Kyiv.
I felt really bad going, and the feeling sunk in even worse because when I got to the train station, I realized that it's all women and children.
He now says he will return to do what he can to assist the refugees.
I spent a couple of last days with that survivor's remorse. I believe that that's what it's called. And currently working on an opportunity to go back.
And the rich kids of Russia are speaking out against Putin. Elizaveta Peskova, whose social media is filled with images of her glamorous lifestyle, posted the hashtag No to the War. Her father is the top spokesperson for the Kremlin. Also calling for peace, Maria Yumasheva, whose father is an advisor to Putin, She posted the flag of Ukraine and the message, "No war."
More than 100 companies have announced they are ceasing their business dealings in Russia, among them McDonald's, which gets 9% of its total revenues from its Russian operation. The company said it cannot ignore the needless suffering unfolding in Ukraine.